I guess this is Greninja?
Sorry, I lost my place. If I ever get my hands on that little runt.
The frog-like Pokemon growled threateningly. Delphox placed a reassuring paw on Greninja's shoulder, which seemed to relax the furious water type.
Thanks, Greninja, but I think Jade would like to have her chance to humiliate the orange-haired raging Nimrod first.
The raven-haired Pokemon master said. Anytime someone's hair color...
All right.
Yep, there you go. Greninja, Serena, Pikachu, and Delphox all laughed as they turned their attention back to the battlefield, where Jade was about to call out her first Pokemon.
Pichu, shut this carrot-haired idiot up.
Jade said calmly, tossing out her own Pokeball. A moment later, the first form of Pikachu appeared on the battlefield, her cheeks crackling with electricity, much like Jade's father's Pikachu's cheeks did whenever he was about to battle. Because they're all the fucking same, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Richard. An easy choice for Jade as she chooses Pichu, an electric type to go up against Misty's water type.
Richard said.
Folks, this looks like it'll be a tough battle for Miss Waterflower.
Ash had a feeling that Richard was subtly taunting Misty and couldn't help but laugh. Apparently, Misty felt the same way, for her eyes burned with rage as she shouted,
Squirtle, use water gun! Dodge it and use thunder,
Jade said calmly. Pichu leapt out of the way of the incoming water gun and fired off a powerful thunder attack that was nearly as strong as Pikachu's. Even before the dust settled, everyone in the arena knew there was no way Squirtle was going to get up again.
Ever. Squirtle is unable to battle. Pichu is the winner,
the ref announced, raising a flag in Pichu's direction.
Yes! Way to go, Jade!
Ash cheered for his daughter, as if she'd heard him. Well, of course she heard him. If somebody, making an offhand comment has heard him. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Jade turned her head towards him and gave him a thumbs up.
Serena.
She looks great so far,
Serena said fondly.
Arceus, damn it! Golduck, destroy them!
Misty roared furiously. Psyduck's evolved form took his place on the battlefield and stared down Pichu, who stared defiantly back.
All right, Pichu, let's keep this up and decide the match in one go, Jade
said confidently.
Use Tail Whip.
Right on!
Pichu yelled as she swung her tail around, hitting Golduck over the head and causing him to stumble backwards.
Oh, man.
Don't let that brat get to you, Aquatail!
Golduck's livid trainer screamed. Golduck swung his own tail around but missed Pichu by several inches when the tiny yellow mouse dodged at the last second.
Now thunder again!
Jade called out. Once again, Pichu's thunder attack was an impressive one. Golduck screeched in pain for several moments before collapsing to the ground, utterly defeated. The crowd screamed its approval as Misty angrily recalled her second fainted Pokemon.
And that's 2 wins in a row for Jade Ketchum,
Richard declared.
Misty had better come up with a good strategy or else she won't stand a chance against Pichu's electricity. What would that strategy be? Standing there screaming at everyone within her peripheral vision?
Greninja asked sarcastically.
Because that's all I'm
just
getting
the
from
peripheral?
her. Yeah, just the...
Nothing straight ahead, just so the sidelines. I'm screaming at you. The person I'm looking at, you're okay.
I mean, either way, there does seem to be a lot of people, so...
Well, it's confusing. Just the peripheral vision people.
Misty looked across the field at Jade.
I didn't want to do this, but you've left me no choice,
she said in a voice of deadly calm.
Gyarados, aid me now!
And Misty calls her most powerful Pokemon Gyarados,
Richard announced, not sounding very impressed. It was obvious that he didn't think even Gyarados stood a chance against Pichu, something Ash agreed with wholeheartedly.
Now you'll see my true power,
Misty declared in what she evidently thought was an intimidating tone. Jade, however, just folded her arms and rose a single eyebrow. The orange-haired girl pressed her finger to a band on her wrist and shouted,
Gyarados, Mega Evolve!
A blinding light filled the arena as the Keystone and Megastone connected. After the light faded, Mega Gyarados stood in front of Misty, looking cocky and confident. His fins had grown considerably longer and now had a black underside. He was also considerably larger than his previous form and had a large fin on his back.
So interesting. So you actually do know how to have a strong bond with your Pokemon.
Jade called mockingly.
Too bad you couldn't say the same about Starmie, huh?
You shut the fuck up about Starmie! The look on Misty's face was priceless.
Gyarados, Hyper Beam!
She screamed in fury.
Dodge it, Pichu.
Jade ordered calmly. Pichu leaped out of the way of the incoming Hyper Beam with ease, even pausing to grin at Mega Gyarados as she moved.
Pausing mid-leap?
Now use Thunderbolt!
The older Ketchum twin commanded.
You got it.
Pichu chirped as she unleashed her Thunderbolt on Gyarados. The Mega Pokemon, unable move due to the side effects of using Hyper Beam, could only stand and stare as the attack hit him full in the face. He roared in pain and fury for several moments before falling to the ground, unconscious and back in his normal form.
Gyarados is unable to battle. Pichu wins.
The ref announced.
So the match goes to Jade Ketchum.
That was too easy. Don't you agree, Pichu?
Jade said.
Yeah, I could have beaten those idiot Pokemon in my sleep.
Pichu agreed confidently.
That was almost boring,
Pikachu said, yawning.
I agree, but the only reason it was even remotely interesting is because Jade was battling.
Greninja said.
You would think that a gym leader would be able to put up more of a fight.
Delphox remarked, speaking for the first time since the match had started.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Misty's weak,
Ash said dismissively.
The only reason she became a gym leader in the first place was because her sisters had other things to do.
Meanwhile, down on the field, Misty had recalled Gyarados and was storming off the field. Jade watched her go for a moment before she turned away and remarked loudly,
Well, that's one annoying, raging Nimrod down.
to cheers and applause from the crowd. Meanwhile, in Pallet Town, a certain Pokemon doctor was gathering some Pokeballs of an old friend of his. He pocketed the Pokeballs and quickly snuck out the door before Professor Oak could notice anything.
Don't worry, I'll get you back where you belong soon,
He whispered. He looked up at the sky where the sun was just about to reach its peak.
Ash, I hope this will be enough to earn your forgiveness.
Should I read the
Author's note.
Wait.
Oh,
what?
yes, always.
Interesting twist, don't you think? I wonder if Ash will forgive Brock. Well, I already know the answer to that, so I'll let you find out next time.
Oh,
Do-do-do-do.
love
All
the
right.
author's notes. That's my favorite part.
They really are pretty engaging.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not understand Discord, so I'm not sure if I will do this right. But I'm gonna log off and I will try to be back before too long. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get Chismeralda's next chapter in here. I just got it. It was just found under a bridge again, presumably. Is that right?
This boy.
Kitty is our
Yeah, I think so.
Our Chesmeralda liaison. So, okay. Bring up.
Yeah, I found this in a puddle in a soccer field.
Text pad. Is that gonna work? Hey. Okay. Bring this over here and should be good to go on this. All right. Okay, so this is chapter, what are we on now? 3 or 4?
One of those.
Chapter 3 or 4 of of Yu-gi-Oh! The Legendary Tale of the Millennium Boob. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. I think that's it.
Okay. Is there a recap in this, or should I?
Yeah, I think there's a recap.
Okay, there's a recap.
I don't know, you know.
If you are reading this, you brought my favorite type of potato chips. But seriously? You want more of this story? Okay, well, buckle up, because now that I'm filled with Cheesy Blasters trademark and Taco Bell toilet wine, I think I'm going out of my mind. Anyway, Piccolo and his dragon-balled buddies were dueling their battles in Yugi Town or whatever, and there was a big, convenient shadow cloud dome covering the arena that Shadow Mai had summoned with the awesome power of the Millennium Boob. This Boob was an ancient relic that nobody has ever heard of. But what do they know anyway? They're smelly, pointy kids playing a silly card game for babies. Whoa, hey! I'm sorry you had to hear that. That was my dad talking. I've got some stuff to work on. Anyway. Nobody's favorite, Tristan, was filling his hair spike with thoughts of the Millennium Boob. He was desperate to learn which one of Mai's boobs was the Millennium Boob. It tantalized him. Was it the left one or the right one? Vote at home now. Take your voting hammer and smash the left side of your screen for the left boob, and smash the right side of the screen for the right boob. Vote now. Pause for voting. And there's a YouTube link. I don't know. You want me to play that? I would have to.
Chesmeralda wants you to play that, I think.
Yeah, Chesmeralda wants me to play. Sure. Okay. Of course. All right, that's enough. If you couldn't hear that, that was the Jeopardy thinking music. Tristan seemed to think about this for at least 30 seconds. Yugi and Taya tried to console Tristan, who is beginning to whine and cry because he could no longer see Mai due to the cloud thingy. Yu-gi-Oh! Is the main guy, so it's strange that he isn't the main character in this story. No, the one we are focused on is Joey. He is trapped inside this swirling purple smoky vortex dome that appeared when Mai's shirt started glowing. Joey and Mai are in the middle of an epic duel. But who is Phone? I mean, who is Mai? Is she really who she says she is? Something's not right. Joey has just played Yugi's best card, the Cursive Dragon, against Mai's magical sleeved wizard. Joey also has a secret card that was made by Yugi. But how can Joey hope to survive if Mai is cheating? Enough games, Mai shouts. It's my turn. And now that we are in the Shadow Realm, my monster gets a bonus 500 attack points. Mai seems smug. Her monster grows stronger. She commands her wizard to attack. Now use the wand of Hitachi to deliver the ultimate pulse. The wizard raises his wand high and aims it at the cursive dragon. Joey smirks and thinks to himself, "Come on, come on." Once the wizard is done charging his magical attack, Joey shouts, "Aha!" as he flips over the hand-drawn card that Yugi gave him. "That's what I thought. You just activated my face-down trap card, Mai. You don't stand a chance." And once this is over, I'm taking your Millennium Boob. She gasps. The battle dome begins to quake as Mai shouts, "What's happening?" Everyone looks to the field. There is a flash of light, then a large sound. The wizard's magical pulse attack was interrupted by a large explosion. It was all like... It was the most badass explosion that has ever taken places inside a Shadow Realm dueling vortex. Once the explosion was over, the vortex was suddenly freezing. And is it snowing? Once the snow and dust settled, Mai looks to the battlefield to see her magical sleeved wizard frozen solid. No, she thinks to herself, this is impossible. How did you summon that? More dust clears. There on the battle court stands Elsa from Frozen, the magical trap card that Yugi had thrown to Joey. He smirks. That's right. This card allows anyone named Joey Wheeler to instantly take out any monster on the dueling board. And once Joey plays the card, he can put it back on top of his deck. Is this Joey talking or? Okay. Come on, Mai. Haven't you played Pokemon before? Mai screams. How could you do this, Joey? You're just a little dog puppy who likes to go on walkies into the park and get his belly rubbed. You're a smelly puppy who has never faced up to his fears. I have the power of the Millennium Boob on my side. There is no way you will defeat me. You want my Millennium Boob? Then you're going to have to duel me for it. Ah ha 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 ha. Mai laughed, but realized that she could see her breath. It was still freezing. On the battlefield, the Elsa from Frozen, who was protecting Joey's cursive dragon, returned to her card when Joey put it on top of his deck, but her frozen wizard shattered into a Brazilian pieces, dropping her hit points. Mai's jimmies were super rustled. She had to defeat Joey for some reason. I don't exactly remember what the stakes were. I'm just going to say that Shadow Mai is an evil spirit who wants to harvest human souls to gain their powers and or juices. This shadow spirit was getting frustrated and coming unhinged. Mai started to twitch and her shadow self started showing through the disguise. Grrr, Mai growled. All right, now you've done it. No more Mrs. Nice Mai. Her voice gets all dark like a ghost demon. You want to face the real me? Get ready for my makeover! As she shouts the stupidest thing I have ever heard, she begins to glow, float, and laugh as her shirt finally bursts open to reveal... A glowing light is bursting from Mai's chest. The blast is blinding. Joey shields his eyes, even though he wants to look really badly. Once the light burst is over, Joey's face turns from excitement to horror. It's not Mai's left boob. It's not her right boob, but her center boob? Whoa! He screams. The power.
Big. Seismic. Oh, man.
The power of the Millennium Boob made Mai's outfit explode off. Thankfully, Mai was wearing one of those Borat bathing suits under her regular clothes because, leave me alone, and it didn't come off. So anyway, this means that her real boobs are covered, but Joey can see in the middle of her chest a third golden, intricate, ancient handmade boob. Where you'd expect the nipple to be there is instead an eye in the shape of Pegasus's Millennium Eye. Joey is just as aroused as he is frightened and sickened and turned on. What is that? This is getting freaky. Joey yells while he flies backwards. I gotta tell my sister Serenity about this. What the heck is going on, Mai? But Mai doesn't answer. Her face and body are twitching and morphing as her human facade completely fails. Where Mai once stood, there is a withered purple figure, shrouded in a toxic purple evil. Joey watches in terror as the disgusting creature absorbs the Millennium Boob straight into its morphing purple skin. The abomination seethes with power, writhing, ready to play a children's card game. I liked you better when you were blonde, shouts Joey, nervously confident. Meanwhile, because we are contractually obligated to give him screen time, Yugi is still on the sidelines outside the Shadow Zone, trademark, with Tristan and Taya. Tristan is uncontrollably sobbing, wondering if he will ever get to see or squeeze the majesty of the Millennium Boob. Taya is trying to console him. She reminds Tristan that there are plenty of other boobs in the world, and he can even look them up on the internet once he gets home to his cats. Tristan now remembers his abandoned cats and sobs harder. Taya looks to Yugi for support. What should we do, Yugi? She asks. Yugi has a lot on his mind. Let's see, who is talking?
It's Yugi.
Yugi? Okay. Who is Mai to toy with our friends like this? I won't let her get away with it. Joey is in grave danger if Mai truly does have a Millennium item up her sleeve or in her shirt. What happens if she can't control it? No, I can't take that chance. I have to fight harder. I gave up too easily. What do you do when the thing you're fighting against is some kind of magical spirit that can take control of you? Something that's living inside you. What do you do then? This other presence inside of me. He is willing to go all the way against any duelist. What is happening to me? 1 minute I'm watching Joey battle against Mai, the next minute I'm battling with myself. Suddenly, there was this other presence inside of me, willing to do anything to win the duel. And it took everything I had just to hold him back. But that gave him the opening he needed. I had no choice. That other presence may have seriously hurt someone if I hadn't regained control. And now I'm afraid of what happens next time. What happens if I can't control it? No, I can't take that chance. And that means I can never... It was then Yugi realized he had been speaking all of those words out loud. Tristan and Taya were completely silent, their wide-eyed stares darting around the room in an awkward silence. Tristan scratched the back of his head and whistled a tune. Taya pretended she heard her cell phone ringing, only she didn't have a cell phone, so she just shouted, "Ring, ring, I have to take this!" as she put one of her shoes up to her ear, then ran away. Tristan, realizing he was alone with Yugi, pretended to fall asleep. Yugi wished he could morph into a Digimon and fly away. P.S. I got your request for paragraph breaks. How do you like them? They cost $5 extra per indentation. Chesmeralda Thunderdome.
The end? Yay!
The end of this chapter. Yay!
It's my favorite one yet. God, that was a shocking reveal with the third boob.
Chesmeralda wanted me to tell you that one paragraph where it seems like Yugi is saying some really deep stuff. That is almost a complete copy-paste out of multiple episodes. Like, it seems like something that someone wrote.
Yeah.
No, it's just copy-paste garbage. And I changed like one word. I mean, she changed one word, like she changed boob from Millennium Puzzle, and that's it.
Wait, are you talking about the one that we just read of Yugi? Can everybody hear Kitty right now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Are you talking about the Yugi's inner monologue? Or?
Yes, the thing that Yugi acts like is his inner monologue, and he actually says out loud, all of that is just like Control-C, Control-V.
From the actual script of the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. Chesmeralda wanted me to just tell you that.
Okay, yeah. thank Chesmeralda for that bit of trivia.
I love to get behind the curtain.
I did want to possibly go over to one of my personal fanfics. So we're switching over from Yu-Gi-Oh! Classic to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds now. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds is a later series where they're playing the same card game, but they're on motorcycles, so it's way better, obviously.
That's cool.
So you'll pick up on the characters as we go here. Oh God, I gotta do Crow's voice. Crow was in the middle of finishing his preparations for the rosemary stew he was making for his most adored rose-themed duelist, Aki Izayoi. It was her favorite, with lots of crumpled bacon. A certain earringed duelist was cutting onions, careful not to get any in his eyes.
If you like Aki so much, why is it that I'm the one doing the hard parts?
He asked with Australian hinting in his voice. Crow smiled at the duelist with the glinting shiny earrings and slapped him on his back.
Because, Jack, we both know that you're the one who is secretly in love with me, but we don't talk about that out loud.
The duelist looked back, shocked.
What?
Said Jack.
Nothing. Chop those onions for my love Aki's stew.
The bubbling broth soon filled the awkward silence, and they each had thoughts to turn to anyway. Crow to the throes of his upcoming proposal in 2 weeks, and Jack had a new book deal that ate up most of his time now. Soon, Aki was lured into the kitchen by the aromas produced within.
Crow chuckled softly. You can't be in here until it's done.
Crow grinned, conjuring a new thought devilishly.
On second thought, you can stay, but you have to keep your blindfold on.
Aki, who had been blindfolded the entire time, giggled softly.
But remember, Crow Snuggums, I haven't taken it off in 2 days.
Jack smiled and shook his head at the silly games those two played, but his thoughts soon turned somber at the thought of having his book written on time. Truly, how will everyone know how the level... Sorry. How... What?
What's this horseshit? You're reading 4Ds without me?
It's 5Ds, and you know that, Michael.
This is sacrilege.
But yes, please read this with me.
I need a.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring it back up here. I have most of the fan fiction that we read put into HTML pages ahead of time, but I don't have one for this. So okay, it should still be up there. And is it cutting off the left side? It looks like it's barely.
I mean, I'm watching Twitch.
Oh,
and
sorry.
It's just you.
Sorry, I'm in studio mode. I have to hit transition for it to actually take effect. There it is.
Oh my God! This is very tiny script. All right, let me.
Okay, no, I can boost it. 14. Is that good?
It hasn't. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Crow. This is Crow and Jack so far.
Sure. And a blindfolded Aki.
Yes. Crow's making a stew. So you want to take Jack? How do you want to do that? You could just read the whole thing if you wanted.
No, I like the back and forth. I'm fine just doing the narration if you want.
Would you be willing to do the voices if I did the narration?
Sure, though it's been a while. What was Crow was like
Hogan.
Right. Okay, yeah, sure.
And I love your Jack. You're good on Jack. I'm pretty sure.
Jack.
It's
Atlas,
been a while.
The master
right, but
of
it's just,
faster.
Yeah, it's just like Australian to 11.
Yeah.
I don't remember Aki.
She's a girl.
Okay. Japanese girl. Got it.
It's been a while. I don't remember her voice very specifically. But,
this won't be stereotypical.
What's that?
Give her voice like strong bad.
Oh, yeah.
Just laugh silently, cover your mouth.
Right. Okay, so truly, how will everyone know the level of greatness he had achieved without him writing his every action of the last 5 years of his life? Crow had met Aki on a boating trip 5 months retroactively, about the most romantic a setting as anyone could dare imagine, and they had quickly become good friends even. And eventually it became clear to Crow that he must marry the burgundy-haired young woman. Even though he had never really cared much about girls, there was something about Aki that made him forget that. He shook himself out of his revelry, and, making sure Aki was still blindfelled, slipped the rose quartz ring he had bought onto a baby carrot and dropped it into the stew. He glanced at Jack with a wry smile, but Jack was clearly going over the 80th chapter of his book, no doubt. It was so important to him, and frankly, Crow didn't understand it. Aki, smiling widely, said,
Crowsy Wozy, what are you doing silly? I can't see a thing.
She stepped forward, wildly swinging her arms, trying to figure out what was going on. Crow stopped her, saying,
Honey bunny, I've made your favorite stew. Oh, I made your favorite. It's stew.
Okay.
It's anyone's favorite stew. Like your favorite stew.
I like that she's like, I'm a helicopter. Ha!
Yeah. It's stew. And then he And then he spooned a bit for her to taste. While he was doing that, Jack also absent-mindedly took a big sip of the soup, saying,
Crow, I think you've done a terrible job on the soup. There's rocks in here.
All of what little color there was in Crow's face drained from it. He threw the spoon down and whirled about. With a key in the room, there was nothing he could say out loud. His heart spiraled downward into a deep abyss. Crow stared down into his hands as Aki asked excitedly,
What's going on? Can I take my blindfold off now? I don't like the dark. It's been 2 days, bitch. Jesus.
What could Crow do? He loved Aki with all of his heart and his soul, but what kind of person proposes to his soulmate with no ring? Jack swallowed painfully as Crow pinched the bridge of his nose at the offense. He would just have to try his best to salvage the evening.
So this is Crow thinking?
Yes.
The only other ring around here is Jack's duel runner, and I don't think he'd let me give that away, even though he owes me and our love is pure.
His thoughts barreled around his head until he found one that was just crazy enough to work.
Aki,
Crow said, grinning to himself with the biggest of inner grins.
Oh, that image. Please wait here while a certain duelist and I go around the corner to the hall and discuss something.
Aki looked confused, but said,
They really could have just left, right? Because, she's not going to know.
True. It would be kind of rude.
Whatever you say, Crow, but please hurry. My eyes are hurting from having this blindfold on. It's been 3 days. She would not do well during this pandemic, let me tell you.
Crow and Jack lived together in a humble but homey pre-war flat. There were stone brick walls that held an eccentric collection of art, band posters of Crow's, and Jack had mostly framed magazines showing his own face, and a skylight that looked cool at parties, but frankly, Jack and Crow knew it to let in a bit of a draft. Crow clutched Jack's white coat and pushed him into a hallway with some of the art.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, Jack, but you ate the ring!
Jack looked blankly at his shorter compatriot, saying,
You're daft, bloke. I ain't ever seen no ring in a suit. I ain't ever seen no ring in a suit before.
Crow wanted desperately to somehow show Jack how important this ring was to him, but he knew that could never, ever happen. In the back of his mind, he knew there was only one way to retrieve the jewelry, though he didn't want to think about it. Crow found himself pinching the bridge of his nose again, and the evening had only just gotten starting. The two dueling pals sauntered sheepishly back into the kitchen. Although, of course, it didn't matter since a key couldn't seen them anyways. Crow directed them all to go out to the dining table, a hip reclaimed piece that used to be a panel of a very large duel runner. Once they were seated and Crow had set out plates and the pot of soup, etc., it was time to say grace. Crow cleared it.
Is there Christianity in the 5Ds world?
There is now.
All right.
Crow cleared his throat to signal as such.
I read the next sentence.
Jack, being an acrostic, kind of rolled his eyes a bit, but what manners he had subdued the action. A key, on the other hand, found it endearing that Crow was such a traditionalist. Her grandmother... oh, hey, it's Celestia Ludenberg. Sorry, story Phineas and Ferb meets Great Mouse Detective. Great, he's dropping off the next edition. We'll get to that in just a second. Stick around.
Oh, yeah.
Almost to the end of this one. A key, on the other hand, found it endearing that Crow was such a traditionalist. Her grandmother had always insisted upon graces at all of their family diners with her at them, and she thought it put on a homey air. She recognized the cough Crow used to signal the prayer and smiled to herself. Crow got as far as,
Dear.
When something drastic happened. The whole table, nay, the whole building, shook a bit and the lights were cut. A key cried out.
Ah!
Jack swore.
Blimey!
And Crow continued his prayer at a higher-pitched tone.
Christ in heaven! What was that? A key, are you all right, my rose?
Crow and Jack merged together in the whole process.
Yeah, that was me trying to do a higher pitched crow. And then I guess this is Key speaking, even though we have no quotes. I think so. Can I take this thing off now?
Meanwhile, Jack was clutching his stomach, wincing. Then he gave a belch, and the faint smell of burnt sulfur hung around as everyone tried to get a hold of themselves. That's the end of the chapter.
Oh, okay, the chapter. I thought that was the end of the story, and I'm like, what a bizarrely like Magnolia-esque way to end it.
It is a bit. Okay, now we're reading Phineas and Ferb meets Great Mouse Detective.
Yes.
By
now remind me, Phineas and Ferb are just inventors?
They're kids. They invent things a lot of the time.
Okay, because what were they mashed up with last time? It was Phineas and
Danganronpa.
Okay, which no wonder I forgot that.
Yeah.
And I saw the Great Mouse Detective in theaters with Grandma.
Wow.
I also saw the Great Mouse Detective in theaters.
I don't remember a thing about it.
I saw the Great Mouse Detective at my deli down the street, and he was really cool. He gave me his autograph.
Oh, shit.
The one scene that I remember is they're in a death trap. A death trap, and Basil says...
Very elaborate, yeah.
Yeah, and Basil says we have to trip the switch early. And his Watson, I can't remember his name, but his Watson is like, what do you mean? Because they're in a mouse trap. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we have to flip the switch early, and that catches the ball so that like they don't die. But that's all I remember.
Yeah.
More than I got. I remember it was Sherlock Holmes-esque.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The villain was the great Rattigan. They had a whole song about him. But
no,
he
wait,
doesn't
was that
like...
Vincent Price?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I was just
Let's
wondering
see.
if any of
Look
y'all
that up
have been
and,
at Vincent Price.
I'm going to look that up. But he did not like being called a rat.
Wow.
Very sensitive about that.
Self-loathing.
And then he dies by being crushed between the hands of Big Ben.
That's what I do remember that, and I was like, oh, damn, they killed him.
Yeah.
Like, it's always shocking when there's a brutal death in a cartoon for children.
Yeah. It was Vincent Price.
Awesome. Huh. I remembered 3 things. All right.
I remembered 3 things today.
It's a good day.
They got archive sound of Basil Rathbone to play Sherlock Holmes. That's pretty cool.
Oh.
Huh.
Wait, what?
I guess Disney can afford it.
Sure. Yeah, they got archived footage of Basil Rathbone to be Sherlock Holmes.
I'm sure the kids at the time really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Or to be the Great Mouse Detective.
No, to be Sherlock Holmes, because they live in Sherlock Holmes's apartment.
I forgot that.
I kind of remember that.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember there was a real Sherlock Holmes.
Huh. Okay. This will all, no doubt,
it'll all make sense.
Play a crucial role in this story.
I've wasted too much time. Let's bounce in. I'm really excited.
Isabella, that's one of Phineas and Ferb's friends. She's a Girl Scout. They're the Fireside Girls, who half of whom had to be rescued in the other story. Isabella, cutely as normal, said, "Hey, Phineas, what you doing?" Phineas replied, "We're transforming ourselves into London mice to fit in the Great Mouse Detective movie." Isabella requested eagerly, "Can I come?" Phineas gently says, "Afraid not." Isabella, disappointed, asks, "Why?" Phineas explains, "It's dangerous. Almost lost you 5 times. I'm not going to let that happen again." I wonder if that
makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like 5 times in the canon of these fan fiction stories. Is like the Danganronpa one, does that count as one of those times? I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Wait! Look, we're gonna get it explained.
Okay. Phineas replies, "First, when you were about to fall in
Wait. No. You skipped a paragraph.
Oh, right. Isabella insists, "But that's why I'm coming with you, like it or not, because I almost lost you 8 times. I don't want to go for 9. Also, where did you get 5 from?" Phineas replies, "First, when you were about to fall in the beak episode, then the pharma zombie adventure, then when second dimension Doofenshmirtz kidnapped and threatened to kill you if I didn't hand over the locket in the call at night." In the call at night. We all remember the call at night.
Sure.
Then our Finding Nemo and Little Mermaid 2 visits. See, some of this has got to be fan fiction.
Though the beak episode, that's where the beak
that was
from.
canon. Yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Celestia. If you're still here, please enlighten us. Or maybe we should just read on. Isabella remembers. Right. Phineas asks her, "Where'd you get 9 from?" Isabella reminds him, "When Buford was about to clock you in the face, when you fell off your haunted house, when Mitch brainwashed you with his Cutonium form, when you were about to give up in our trip around the world, when second dimension Doofenshmirtz was about to shoot you at point blank range with your own baseball gun, when you sacrificed yourself to save me from being turned into a pharma zombie, when you got sucked out of reality, and when Morgana had temporarily brainwashed you."
Oh, okay, here we go. We got an author's note explaining it all.
Okay, and my name's Celestia says, I'm here just letting you focus. Cool. I am curious, though, if some of those were all canon or if some of those were from your own.
It's going to tell us right here.
Okay, good, fine. Author's note. Here are the references. The Beak was season 2, episode 27. Night of the Living Pharmacist was season 4, episodes 30 and 31. Then The Call at Night is a fanfic written by somebody else. Okay. Perky Goth 14. 14 long. Okay, it's long, but I recommend it. The Finding Nemo and Little Mermaid 2 adventures are 2 of my own crossover fics. Raging Bully is season 1, episode 5A. Meepless in Seattle is season 3, episode 27. Summer Belongs to You is season 2, episodes 37 and 38. Across the Second Dimension is the movie released as the season 4 climax. And The Last Day of Summer was season 4, episodes 36 and 37.
Phineas and Ferb got a movie?
Apparently.
Huh.
Yeah, I think I... Was that in the aughts?
Yeah, that sounds right, yeah.
All right.
End of author's note. Okay, so it goes back into the story. Phineas replies, "Oh, yeah." Isabella inquires, "Anyway, why is this area so dangerous?" Phineas announces, We're facing the most evil villain in the entire city. There's no evil scheme he wouldn't concoct. No depravity he wouldn't commit. He's a genius's twisted for evil, twisted pair. The Napoleon of crime. The nefarious Professor Rattigan. Isabella Spunky said, "I'm not scared of some professional criminal rat, are you?" Phineas bravely says, "Not at all."
I like thinking that Isabella Spunky is her actual surname.
Yeah. Isabella Spunky. Phineas bravely says, "Not at all." Okay. So I guess the stakes are low then, or although he's being brave. So
Oh, he's being brave. He is nefarious.
When they warp into the movie's opening, they watch from the window as Fidget kidnaps Hiram Flavorsham. And if I remember correctly, Fidget is like a peg-legged bat? I remember somebody has a peg leg.
Sure, let's run with that.
They run over to the barrel where Dawson meets Olivia Flavorsham. They introduce themselves and offer to help them find Basil of Baker Street. See you in part 2 for the world's greatest Criminal Minds song. Oh
so
boy,
it's less it's less like a crossover fic, and they're actually going to take part in the movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, this will remind all of us who can't remember shit from the movie what went on then.
Wait, is that on Disney Plus? It must be, right? Great Mouse Detective.
Probably, yeah. Phineas and Ferb might also be. I think that's.
And my name is Celestia. Said he's afraid she might get hurt. Sorry for the poor implication, but that's what it is.
Okay. Cool. That's why he's being brave. Then I guess. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay.
This is kind of like the last action hero, you know?
Yes.
Okay. An homage, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Enter Basil of Baker Street / World's Greatest Criminal Mind. When they reach Baker Street, of course. Phineas decide. Okay, I don't know if that's like a title. Is that the title of the chapter? Enter Basil of Baker Street? Okay. Phineas decides, I'll ring the doorbell. Ding dong.
Fair enough.
Mrs. Judson answers, hello?
No, but she's got to be really British.
Hello?
There you go.
Isabella asks, "Excuse me, ma'am, does a Mr. Basil of Baker Street live here?" Do they pronounce it Basil or is it Basil?
I'm pretty sure it's Basil.
I think Basil.
Basil.
Yeah. If I'm to believe Faulty Towers, it's Basil.
Well, because it's, I mean, they named him that after Basil Rathbone, so.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
Mrs. Judson responds, I'm afraid so. He's not here at the moment. Why not come in and wait? Isabella pointedly insists. Oh, no,
politely.
Oh, right. That's very different. Politely insists. Oh, no, we don't mean to impose. It's just this girl points to where Olivia was standing, but she's not there. Olivia? Phineas notices. There! Olivia fiddles with Basil's equipment. Oh, my.
Whoa. Phrasing.
Basil busts in exclaiming he may have the evidence to capture Ratigan, albeit wearing a frightening disguise. Isabella scaredly screams, "Ah!" Phineas soothingly tells her, "Shh, shh, shh. It's okay. I got you." Hugs her. "Remember what I told you. Come, let's tiptoe into the dark one good scare ought do. You'll find our bite so much worse than our bark one. The little scare. I'm scared." I don't know where this sentence is going. Worse than our bark one scare oughta do you some good. Is this the song? I had to reference my favorite
I think it is.
season one song. My bad. Okay, so this is a Phineas and Ferb song. Okay. Well, I do not know the song, so
Sing it.
It's okay, I got you. Part of it, I'm guessing it starts, "Come, let's tiptoe into the dark, one good scare oughta do. You'll find our bite so much worse than our bark, one little scare oughta do you some good. You should find the daily grind a tad bit taxing on the mind. To unwind, I have a small suggestion that if you dare into my lair, you should prepare for quite a scare. But will you share in this nightmare would be my only question. If your hair lies lifeless and limp, one good scare oughta do it. Come with me now, don't be a wimp, one little scare oughta do you some good."
How many scares would it take if there was gel in the hair? That's my question.
That is quite right. I would delight in taking flight into the night if I may give you such a fright. You know I surely would, but if I seem a bit extreme in my attempts to make you scream, remember that this spooky scheme will cure your hiccups for good. One little scare oughta do you some good. How did I do? How close was I?
Song from the MST.
I gotta breathe hard and do some jazz hands. I like the very, very jarring cut with the next sentence.
Basil shoots the gun he found at the crime scene of one of Mrs. Judson's pillows. Phineas confirms. "Basil of Baker Street, I presume?" Basil declares, "Correct." Phineas states, "We need your help." Basil insists, "Momentarily, young boy."
I have pillows to hunt.
Isabella persists. "Basil, you don't understand. It's really important." Basil requests, "Hold this, please, fireside girl." Isabella says, "Certainly," stares confusedly. "How the deuce did you know I was a fireside girl without my telling you?" Basil explains, "The best in your troop, to be exact. Leader and patch record holder in troop 46321. But still have trouble with more than a dozen, two of which involved lockpicking and writing a full-length novel. Am I right?" Isabella replies, "Yes, how could you know?" Basil pontificates. "Quite simply, actually. Your mastery of cuteness, brainpower, and tomboyish tougher are a level only a top Girl Scout would have. No one else could be as cute.
No idea what I do downstairs. But I played magnets again. Yeah, but I made magnets for my baby bunny.
Oh, that's
Magnets? How do they work?
yeah.
Let's take a break to
All right.
contemplate
And baby bunny
magnets.
dirt face. Mom carried the baby bunny bed so baby bunny could go to the dirt place.
Let's all take a break to make some magnets and carry baby bunny bed something.
Take care.
Carried the bunny to the dark place? That's what I heard.
Can we hear her fanfic?
Yeah.
No, that was it.
That
was it. And it
Okay.
is stream of conscious, and it doesn't make any sense, but I love it. I'm here for it. It's just like, okay, so there's the thing, and then turns into a fire monster. Everything always turns into a fire monster because of
I need this in
And
my
then-
life.
yeah.
Next
There's-
chapter,
oh
tell
God, it's so much.
Chesmeralda Thunderdome. Something needs to turn into a fire monster.
All right, you know what? Maybe at the tail end of the thing, it'll be Lillian's fanfic. Where she
Okay.
just talks
We should-
about
we
stuff.
should
And
just
yes,
make
it
it an
will have,
official
it will be
section.
Moana and Frozen and God, what else is she like? Louis' Big Adventure related. It'll be those things definitely. She's also into Up and Coco.
Yes.
Those are her
Okay.
jams, right?
Okay.
It's good fanfic. Anyway, where were you? I'm sorry, I got lost there. She
My name
doesn't
is
care that I'm
Celestia. Says that we're 2/5 there almost.
okay.
Go on. Wait. Top Girl Scout would have.
Phineas, though.
As for how much I know about you, Flynn, Phineas intriguedly insists, go on. Basil elaborates. You are quite ingenious for your age. You built a roller twice, thawed a caveman out of ice, painted a continent, made a backyard beach, traveled through time twice, and did so many other awesome things. Phineas, equally awestruck, asks, amazing, how could you know? Basil explicates, Your can-do attitude is a dead giveaway. Everyone with that attitude has made a backyard beach.
Right. Well, also he knew her troop number, for God's sake.
I have a feeling that in the Great Mouse Detective universe, they have the show Phineas and Ferb, and he's just been watching. That's my.
I don't think they have
my
TVs.
Wait, but Phineas and Ferb
Well-
obviously have watched this movie, but in that
Yeah.
movie they're watching Phineas
yeah.
and Ferb as well.
Yeah,
It's an Ouroboros of
double reach
Oh,
around. Phineas recaps, says Olivia's father, Hiram Flaversham, was captured by a bat with a peg leg and crippled wing. Oh yeah, I was right. No, it's that Basil is so smart he knows everything. Okay, sorry. Basil eagerly responded, did you say bat with a crippled wing and peg leg? Phineas replies, yes. Basil gloats, ha! Dawson inquires, do you know him? Basil points out, know him? That bat one fidget by name is in the employ of the very fiend who was the target of my experiment, the horror of my every waking moment, the nefarious Professor Rattigan. Dawson asks, Rattigan?
That's a horrible James Vanderbeek.
Is Dawson the Watson?
I have no idea. I wasn't sure
Okay,
who Dawson was, so I just pictured James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
I'm sure that's
Now
right.
now I'm curious though. I'm gonna look up the name because we had.
It's his Watson.
Okay.
I've got
Gotcha.
the IMDb page
Okay.
open.
Dawson asks, Rattigan? Phineas sums up, short version is he's the evilest guy you could imagine. Basil exclaims, oh, sorry, that was Phineas. Phineas sums up. Short version is he's the evilest guy you could imagine. Basil exclaims, Quite right, Flynn, but how did you know? Phineas retells. Well, we fought someone just as bad once, an alternate version of a super incompetent villain. Basil asks, Who? Phineas answers, An alternate dimension version of Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Basil comments, How evil is this fiend? Phineas reminds, He roboticized Perry and took over the world in his dimension. We would have done the same to ours if not for our riot with the replicas of our old stuff made by this. Stretches into his overalls and pulls out the locket key from the events of Phineas and Ferb, the movie Across the Second Dimension.
This pulls a lot from the Phineas and Ferb movie. We really need to watch that before.
Basil exclaims, Intriguing. Phineas says, Thanks. Basil warns, Not a corner of London's safe while Rattigan's at large, and who knows what he's scheming even as we speak. Rattigan gloats. Oh, is he there? Did we change somewhere?
I think we're taking scenes here.
Would you mind taking Rattigan's?
Sure. So, evil and British. My friends, we are about to embark on the most odious, the most evil, the most diabolical scheme of my illustrious career. A crime to top all crimes. A crime which shall live in infamy.
Minions cheer.
Our beloved monarch celebrates her Diamond Jubilee, and with the good help of our friend Mr. Flaversham, it promises to be a night she will never forget. Her last night, and my first as supreme ruler of all mousedom.
Song time.
That should be interesting. From the brain that brought you the Big Ben caper, whoa!
Sorry, I scrolled down a bit.
The head that made headlines in every newspaper, and wondrous things like the Tower Bridge job, that cunning display that made London a sob. Now comes the real tour de force, tricky and wicked, of course. My earlier crimes were fine for their times, but now that I'm at it again, an even grimmer plot has been simmering in my great criminal brain. Even meaner?
You mean it?
Okay, so I guess, it's like a Greek chorus, not just a chorus. Got it, okay.
Worse than the widows and orphans you drowned? You're the best of the worst around. Oh, Rattigan, the rest fall behind. To Rattigan, the world's greatest criminal mind.
Thank you. But it hasn't all been champagne and caviar. I've had my share of adversity thanks to that miserable second-rate detective, Basil of Baker Street. For years, that insufferable pipsqueak has interfered with my plans. I haven't had a moment's peace of mind, but all that's in the past. This time, nothing, not even Basil, can stand in my way. All will bow before me.
Oh, Rattigan, you're tops and that's that. To Rattigan, Bartholomew. To Rattigan, the world's greatest rat.
What was that? What did you call me?
Thug 1. Oh, he didn't mean it, Professor. It was just a slip of the tongue.
I am not a rat.
Course you're not. You're a mouse. Yeah, that's right. A mouse. Yeah, a big mouse.
Silence! Oh, my dear Bartholomew, I'm afraid that you've gone and upset me. You know what happens when someone upsets me.
Oh, Rattigan, you're tops and that's that. Oh, dear. I'm not sure if that's...
I think that's an aside from Bartholomew.
Oh. And he's just continuing to sing. Oh dear. To Rattigan, the world's greatest. Felicia, meow.
Oh, Felicia, my precious, my baby. Did Daddy's little honey bun enjoy her tasty?
Blank.
I trust there will be no further interruptions. And as you were singing...
Even louder.
Even louder.
We'll shout it. I don't know. And no one can doubt what we know you can do. You're more evil than even you. Oh, Ratigan, you're one of a kind. To Ratigan, the world's greatest criminal mind. Next time, part 3, where Ratigan orders Fidget to capture Olivia Flaversham.
Was it Olivia captured at the end of part 1?
No, that was...
a different Flaversham?
Different Flaversham. He's... Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Hiram Flaversham was like somebody in the royal court or something, somebody with influence, and then they have to capture his daughter in order to get him to something. I don't remember exactly. After the villain number, Ratigan...
go ahead.
Ratigan beckons...
Oh, Fidget...
Fidget replies.
So this is the bat with a peg leg?
Yep.
Yes, boss?
Ratigan orders.
I need you to get a few things. Gears, uniforms, and the Flaversham girl.
Fidget insists.
I won't let you down, boss.
Basil tries to uncover Ratigan's scheme. Basil ponders. This case is the most intriguing with its multiplicity of elements, its many twists and turns. Now addressing Olivia, Phineas, and Isabella. Now you children are sure you've told me everything? The slightest detail could be important. Phineas repeats, it's just as we said. Isabella reiterates. Indeed, Mr. Basil, sir. We said that Flaversham was taken by Fidget.
That's great detail, Isabella.
Dawson asks, what do you make of it? Basil thinks further. Ratigan's up to something, the crime of the century, no doubt. The question is what would he want with a toy maker? That's it. He's a toy maker. Isabella turns to the opposite window and spots Fidget. Isabella nervously says, Mr. Basil, sir? Basil shrugs her off. Not now, Isabella. I'm trying to contemplate Ratigan's scheme. Isabella tells, It's just that Fidget is outside the opposite window. Basil screams, What? Turns to the opposite window. After him, everyone! Dawson complains, We'll never catch him this way. Basil decides, Not to worry, I have a plan now. Where's Toby at? Phineas tells him, Actually, there's no need. The gang and I once made a giant airplane out of papier-mâché one afternoon. If you give me and Isabella here 1 minute, we can use the spare parts to build a fast, small vehicle. Basil announces, Genius! 1 minute later, Basil congratulates him. You've done it! What is it? Phineas responds, A skateboard fast enough to follow Fidget to his destination. After they follow Fidget, they reach their destination. Isabella notices Fidget about to capture Olivia. Isabella warns her, Olivia, look out! Pushes her out of the way and gets caught instead. Fidget runs for it. Phineas, despair-filled, yells, Isabella, no! This happens every time she comes with me on a trans-dimensional adventure. She gets in danger, and I can't stop it. Basil tells him, Worry not, Flynn. We'll save your darling. Phineas asks, sniffing sadly, Do you think there's a chance? Basil states, There's always a chance as long as one can think.
Okay.
Phineas remembers. Wait a second. Picks up the list Fidget dropped. Get the following tools, gears, girl uniforms. Basil yells, Phineas, you've done it! This list is exactly what we need. Dawson asks, what? Basil decides, quickly back to Baker Street. See you in Part 4, which starts with Fidget returning to Ratigan and ends with Basil, Phineas, Dawson, and Olivia sourcing the list to the seedy pub where the sewer connects to the riverfront Toodles. The riverfront Toodles. Back at Ratigan's base, Fidget chuckles.
I got a boss.
Ratigan smirks.
Excellent, Fidget. Let me see.
Isabella falls out of the bag. Ratigan seethes.
Fidget, you idiot! This is the wrong girl.
Fidget explains.
I was trying to get the right one, but she jumped into the bag. I didn't have time to swap out the girls because Basil was there.
Ratigan gets madder.
What? Basil on the case? Why, you gibbering little... Oh, Fidget, you have been hanging upside down again.
Fidget, relieved, says,
You mean you're not mad? I'm glad you're taking this so well.
Isabella protested. You won't get away with this, Ratigan. My darling Phineas will stop you. Ratigan smirked.
Actually, it's a good thing you mentioned that, because I'm gonna make an offer you'd be ignorant to refuse.
Isabella fearfully asks, What do you mean?
You will help me make Flaversham finish his contribution to my scheme and set a trap for Basil and his chubby sidekick.
Isabella boldly says, And if I refuse?
Then I'm afraid a rather grisly fate.
Sorry, Ratigan threatens.
Fate. A rather grisly fate will befall you, your darling. In other words...
Makes neck-slicing gesture with finger. Isabella responds. Terrified. No! In a guilty voice thinking, but you can hear her thoughts because plot. I'm sorry, Basil. We turn on the reverb here. I'm sorry, Basil, but I have to do this. Phineas's life is the most important thing to me. Ratigan, you've got a deal. Are we still thinking?
I don't think we're thinking.
Ratigan, you've got a deal. However,
hope if we can think.
You have to give me your word that if I help you, you won't kill, hurt, or do anything bad to Phineas. Ratigan promises.
You've got a reverb button. You need a few more buttons over there, you know, that's like like some Sunday morning drive sound effects.
I know. I want to get a soundboard going, but I haven't figured it out yet.
I swear on my life.
Isabella agrees. Deal. Shakes his hand. Back at Baker Street. Basil concludes. Offhand, I can deduce very little. Only that the words are written with a broad-pointed quill pen which is spattered twice. That the paper is of... He tosses it in his hand, testing the weight to determine what type of paper it is. Native Mongolian manufacture, no watermark, and has... With these words, he has discovered something else. Basil puts the paper to his lips and smacks it several times. Been gummed? If I'm not very much in error... For the next step, he sniffs at the paper and holds it at arm's length in disgust at the result. By a bat who has been drinking Rodent's Delight, a cheap brandy sold only in the seediest pubs. Dawson, Phineas, and Olivia say, Amazing.
Amazing.
Basil brushes it off. Oh, not really. We don't know where it came from. After a few more tests, it's revealed that the list came from the pub near the waterfront.
Do you think these guys know Danger Mouse? Because they're like going around London, small size.
Maybe the time period might...
Fair enough.
That's what we need, though. That should be the next crossover. Skip to when they follow Fidget through the pipes. Phineas announced, I found something. Basil responds, what, old chap? Phineas mentions, this is Isabella's old emotional bravery patch. She wouldn't leave this behind unless she was really in trouble. Unless she was in trouble. Suddenly, they get trapped by a net out of nowhere. Basil decides, young Master Phineas, you are an overachiever, surely, if you can get us out of here. You are an overachiever, surely, if you can get us out of here.
There's no if.
Oh, gotcha. Wow. It's getting late, okay? You are an overachiever. Surely you can get us out of here. That makes a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. Phineas, distraught, says, I wish I could, but this net is tied with the Gordian knot.
All right.
That's impossible. Besides myself, Ferb, Buford, and Baljeet are the only other person who knows about it is. I guess that was in an episode somewhere, presumably. The Gordian knot.
Well, the Gordian knot is a thing from history.
Oh, is that the...
It's the thing that Alexander was the one who... Yeah. Hold on a second.
These rats had time to tie a Gordian knot in there.
Right. It doesn't make any sense, but that's all right. Good deduction, Phineas. Indeed, it was none other than your girlfriend who helped me trap you.
Isabella seethes. Ratigan, you only wanted to trap Basil and Dawson. Release Phineas. Ratigan gives in.
Very well. Fidget.
Fidget asks.
Tess, boss.
Ratigan commands.
Release the pointy one.
Fidget reluctance says.
Fine.
Basil seethes. Young lady, how could you, an upstanding lead fireside girl, do this? Isabella confessed. I'm sorry, Basil. I had no choice. Phineas inquired, why? Isabella tells him, don't you know, Phineas? You have no idea. Ratigan said he was going to kill you if I didn't. Will Basil be able to forgive Isabella? Can the crew thwart Ratigan in time? Find out in the exciting conclusion, Part 5. And my name is Celestia says it was the episode Not My Problem. The creator, Don Povemier's pun, not mine. Wants no part of that. Okay, last chapter. When he's alone, Ratigan maniacally cackles. I'm finally going to win, Basil.
Oh, wait.
Sorry.
I'm finally going to win. Basil and his friends will not stop me.
Oh, God. A mysterious voice ominously says, don't underestimate Phineas or his darling. They're crafty. I had a perfect plan to take over their world, and they
so
still
this is
thwarted
Dr.
me.
Doofenshmirtz, if you know that voice.
I think it was more of a higher pitched. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off. I definitely don't know how to make it ominous. Don't underestimate Phineas or his darling. This is what it is. They're crafty. I had a perfect plan to take over their world, and they still thwarted me. Ratigan, suspicious, yells,
Who are you?
Second dimension Dr. D evilly says, I am Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Ratigan inquires,
And what was this plan of yours?
Second dimension Doofenshmirtz smirks. Wow. Doofenshmirtz smirks. While replying, a portal from my dimension to theirs, infinitely spawning my super powerful robot army. Anyway, if we work together, we can triumph in the name of evil.
You never end a sentence with my super powerful robot army and start the next sentence with anyway.
Ratigan asks,
How so?
Doofenshmirtz 2D answers, well, you have to target all the weaknesses of both characters. Ratigan asks,
What are those weaknesses?
Doof evilly snarks, the girl, she also has weaknesses for her mother, her pet dog Pinky, and her fellow fireside girls Holly, Katie, Millie, Gretchen, Ginger Hirano, and Addison Sweetwater. Only 2 of them have last names. Ratigan asks,
And the boy?
Doof 2D answers, his stepbrother Ferb, his stepfather Lawrence, his step-grandfather Reginald, his step-grandmother Winifred, his mother Linda, his sister Candace, his pet platypus, his grandparents Clyde and Betty Jo, his biggest fan Irving, and his other 2 best friends Baljeet Jinder and Buford Van Stam. To help you, I have a portable portal remote to their dimension. Yeah. Ratigan replies,
Thanks. Now there's chaos to cause.
Skip to after they ruin Ratigan's image by sabotaging his robo-copy of the Queen.
Oh,
Right,
I heard RoboCop. I got excited.
RoboCop
What?
of the
He's in
Queen.
this?
Yeah, I really
All right.
expect you to be very familiar with all of the properties involved. But I remember that they wanted the toy maker because he made like a mechanical representation of the Queen so that they could commit fraud in some way from that. But then it was sabotaged. So. So now we're all caught up. Ratigan snarks.
No. Trying to figure out how to do this snarkily. Not so fast. I know your weakness, Flynn and Garcia Shapiro, thanks to a certain friend of yours.
I love that she's Garcia Shapiro. I like to imagine that she's related to Ben Shapiro.
Wait, I don't even know who is Garcia.
That is one of the weaknesses. That's like one of her friends from the Fireside Girls, I think.
Oh, he's listing weaknesses, not saying,
Yeah,
like,
he's not
I know
talking
your
them
weakness,
to-
Bob.
yeah.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Basil, second dimension, Doofenshmirtz shows himself. Hey. Basil asks, is the fiend with the eye patch the Doofenshmirtz you were telling me about? Phineas confirms, that's him. Ratigan threatens.
So if any of you try to stop me, I will go to their dimension and kill their loved ones.
Phineas decides, we give up. Ratigan snarks.
I'm going to kill your loved ones anyway, because I'm evil.
Phineas assures them, okay, it's okay. I never got rid of our interdimensional remote and I reprogrammed it to go to our dimension. Let's stop him. They arrive in Danville. Phineas tells them, it's okay, I have a plan. Isabella, you used the beak suit
Yes.
to help me once, so if you and I use it together, we can save our friends. Ratigan cackles.
Ha ha ha! No one can stop me now. Not the beak suit. No, I mean,
Well, basically, Phineas, in beak suit disguise voice, screams, caw, caw. Skip to after they clock him. Whoa, does that mean punch him or like crush him between the clock hands?
let's go for the second one. That's pretty
Yeah.
clever there.
That's a huge skip. My name is Celestia. Why did you abandon the story right at the climax there? Okay, skip to after they clock him. Basil replies to him being
I regret nothing.
clock him like the punch because they're fighting in Danville. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. Thank you kindly, for young Flynn. Visit us anytime. Phineas responds, will do. And hey, try to visit us frequently. Here have a prototype of the portal remote to Danville. Basil Grateful states, thank you, Phineas. Come along, protege Dawson. Dawson, embarrassed, said, thanks. The end.
Whew. All right.
All right.
Okay.
So wait, did we skip over the climax again? Didn't that happen in the other story provided?
It did.
Just like,
it did.
okay, all right. So that's a
authorial
point.
My name is Celestia. 1 point of small critique. Maybe flesh out the climaxes a little bit. Maybe they could clock him more than once. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, what's clocking? Because we have ideas, but we're not sure.
No. He said in the chat. He said clock him like the punch.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you for submitting. We're right at 8:00 now, so gonna wrap it up. Let me see if anybody's streaming that we could raid. Looks like Lesbro Games is playing something. Dragon Ball Xenoverse. So we're gonna raid them. For real. I'm gonna spell it all correctly.
Spell it right.
It's games with a Z and Lesbro with an S. And okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
How do I leave this room? I don't understand.
There's a disconnect button. It should say like voice connected in Discord.
Okay.
And there's a
Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.